It's also being honest about the different reach that different folks have, and that's the only way, because we don't even know we don't know. When you see it all the time, where that people are like, dang, I didn't know about it, and it was just like, oh, but I put it on my social media, and then so to think thoroughly and be extremely responsible in our approach to ensuring that.
I want to be extremely responsible with who we reach out to
Yeah.
and our resources. I want to make sure that if I've got such and such at the table, they're bringing this because they have a connection. And then when I go and say such and such is on our council, people feel more comfortable speaking with me because it gives me a little more validation in terms of you just taking my story. I don't want that. I want them to feel comfortable. DJ such and such is at the table. We list the council. These are council members. They're up front with us so that people, because half the battle is people feeling comfortable enough to say, I want to tell my story. You got graffiti artists who ain't never came out and will not
the
come
whole
out.
culture is to not
Exactly. Not be
known.
seen and not be known. So it's like, do I feel comfortable? I got somebody at the table who says, you safe. Because trust me, the city's still after some of them people.
Oh, boy, do we know.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, such and such is at the table.
And that's the other part. You just saying that, like, just the idea of criminalizing people for self-expression, for creativity. At a time when our city can't seem to get gun control together.
And we worried about that.
I mean, the safety issues around driving.
Yep.
And to think that there would be any kind of organized control over creativity is amazing.
It would be, though.
Oh, man.
It would.
Oh, man.
But I want them to feel safe. Like, I'm safe here.
No doubt.
I can talk about it, but my name won't be used, or this part of me. But I want your story because I want to know what happened. What were you doing? What were you thinking when you were out there doing that?
Yeah.
I want that to be told, but I want them to feel safe.
Absolutely. Like, going off that, just being intentional with who we talk to or who we reach out for counsel.
Yep.
People in the community that we know are either trusted or that, we they help us build that trust with people we want to talk to.
We want to be real intentional about that. That's why I want to say that out loud, like on the mic, in front of people.
So
you
the
say
first best practice is to expand the team.
Yes.
And then expand and expand and
Expand, yeah.
Also, figuring out and tracking compensation in this project. This should be, like the young people that we engage should be getting paid.
Yep.
We'll want to structure what their time looks like. We want to be intentional about what they're actually being trained to do. We don't just want them there.
Nope.
We want them to walk away with a set of skills.
Yep. And we don't want them watching us do it. I don't want that.
Right.
I want them to do it. I want them to understand what they're doing, questions. I want them to understand the process. This is a whole, so they'll sit down with Jeremy and go through what it means when I get a pair of glasses and I'm going through the process and what it looks like in terms of putting it in the archives. It goes in acid free, this goes in this, goes in that. They'll see all of that and they'll train with him and say, okay, this is what happened. So when they're talking to people, they're like, okay, I'm going to give you my record. Yeah. What does this look like? What are you going to do with it? Yeah. They can explain. It's going to go here. It's going to be an open resource for people to come in and say, I'm looking for this music that DJ such and such use. Can I pull it out? Can I listen to it? And then they'll have a reading room where they can listen to it. So it becomes a resource to the community. So it's not just putting it away.
Right.
It goes on a finding aid. It goes on the computer. It goes on the internet. Not the music, but the listing of the music and says blah, blah, blah. Also, when people upload their music, we're not using your music for commercial use.
Right.
That's important. We are not doing that.
Yep.
We are making sure. Now, if someone calls us to say, I like that song, I want to use it, then that is a conversation with that person and the artist. But we can work as a connector and say, here's the information. This is for educational purposes. We are not taking your music and sending it up to New York or doing whatever we're doing.
No.
But we have people who call us.
Yeah, but creating a new platform to create that awareness
Exactly.
And
That's
again,
important.
it takes it back to that connector, and it re-emphasizes what you said about trust.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look for the different creative forms? So
I have families right now who will say, I'm giving you these pictures, but I've had people call for commercial use for them. So out of courtesy, I've called these families. This is going for commercial use. What do you want for compensation for it? Because they have money. I mean, they're using it for this, and that. We're talking about agencies.
Yeah.
And counseling them in that area and making sure that they're covered. We are not trying to take advantage. We're an educational facility, but we don't want anyone to be taken advantage of. So when you upload your music, it's exposing your music, but it's not exploiting your music. We're making sure that people can hear it, but if it needs to be used for anything other than educational, that is on you. That's a conversation with that person and you, not us. We are not taking compensation for your music. We want people to feel safe and trust that that's what we're doing. So that also has to be said loud and proud.
That's right. And documented.
Because I don't want people to think, I'm uploading my music, they use my music. Nah, I'm not using your music for anything.
We're storing it, we're preserving it.
Yeah, so next generations can hear it. It's going to live on. It's not in your basement.
And it's not by itself. Like the, so the old school flyers, the album covers, all that.
All of that.
We want digital versions of that so that this oral storytelling is then paired with the music, paired with the art, paired with the pictures, paired with the flyers.
Yep.
And so really that's the ask. So, for the artists that see themselves as valuing their history being preserved, they get to decide how expansive that is.
Yep.
So what comes with my story.
Yep.
And, I think that's pretty cool.
Correct. I love that you said that because I want it to be clear that, of course, we'd love the actual poster, but we also understand that you might not be ready to give up the poster yet. It might still be in your basement. It might still be.
It's a likely scenario.
Yeah, there's a good chance it's still on the wall and you're bringing it to show us. But finding ways, digitally especially, to preserve that.
Yeah.
And so we can recognize that we might not have the physical copy, but we do have the digital version of whatever art piece.
And we're teaching the kids what DPI to scan it at, what to save it at, where to put it, all that, so that they know, okay, this is how it's stored. So when they go and tell somebody, they know. They understand. They can talk to us or the children.
Yeah.
The kids, the young people.
All of us, actually.
Yes.
We keeping it connected.
We can
Talk
all
to us
answer that
and our
question.
crew,
Yes.
That is intergenerational. We're 100 young years old down to 14 young years old. And then there'll be some babies running around a little younger than that, watching the process. And
all of that.
Yep, all of that.
All of that. So that's important. I can, like you said, the babies. My 10-year-old, she gives tours sometimes. They may not be the most ethical tours. They're playing in the sand, but she's showing somebody what it is in her language, in her way.
Yeah, from what she's seen. I feel you. I got a 19-year-old right now running around True School, but the first time she came to work with me here was 12 years ago. It's a long time ago. And, she was there doing her thing. What we do? We told your daughter, go get creative however you want.
She's not bothering me. I'm not
go
after her.
read, you
Yeah,
can go
she's
draw.
fine.
We can get the paint out.
All day.
Whatever it is, this space is for you.
Yeah.
And, it is so valuable, especially as parents, I think, to tell your young people that they belong in your world.
Exactly.
And there is, that comes back to that audacity and why hip hop is so important, is because we're saying that our cultural engagement with our families and our communities are just as important as being able to feed them and put a roof over their heads. And then we start getting into the whole emotional, mental aspect of that. Yeah. And so, it's just, there's some exciting natural things that are going to come out of this project. And I'm just, I'm excited for us to do the diligence of the infrastructure work. I'm excited to learn from you. I'm excited to learn from you, Jeremy. I know that there is going to be a lot of reciprocity as far as what we walk away with personally from this journey, and the fact that it's just going to be to the benefit of so many.
Yeah, it's gonna open it wide up. I mean, even when I was at the summer jam, just talking to people, it's like I ain't talked to some of y'all in years, but being able to talk to people and people are excited. Oh man, I got this, I got that. I can talk to you about that. Already, just talking to them one-on-one, you can tell they feel safe. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted. And just being able to open up and knowing that they're going to share that information and they're going to open it up for the public to kind of know, and it humanizes everybody.
Yes.
It makes us all, because you don't realize what you have in common until you hear people's stories. So it humanizes everybody to each other. It makes you real. And you saying, oh, I went through this and this was the process of me making my music. It's like, oh, I had the same kind of process when I'm building my business, and I didn't know that you went through that. But being able to humanize yourself and tell your story.
And even humanize the hip hop experience.
Exactly.
Like being around all the artists, there was like this ongoing joke we were talking about, because everybody always says, when did you fall in love with hip hop? Like hip hop's a thing.
Exactly.
Versus like a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And it's like, hold on. Like,
Yeah.
That's like asking me when I fell in love with myself.
Exactly.
Like when did you first see the potential in yourself?
Yeah.
Because that's really what it's about. And so it was just kind of funny. I had a laugh with a few artists over that weekend, just coming up on that 50th anniversary. Because the story is so much deeper than that.
It is.
It wasn't a thing that was over there. We actually were the thing, and we were creating it as we were going.
The only way I fit in. I didn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like you found your niche right there, and it hugged you and said, okay, you good.
Yeah.
And that question is, the second question you asked is really the question, becoming yourself and understanding that part about you.
Yeah.
Everything else is relative.
And no shade. I get why people ask it, but I think what happens is it's the kind of question that requires or it incites a quick response.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than that.
It's
so much bigger than that,
Yeah. Because you can sit in that question like, what? Nah, I can't even answer that. Not really. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, we had a great kickoff, and the momentum of everybody being in celebratory mode, in active creative mode, running into people they haven't seen in so long, feeling nostalgic, feeling excited, feeling appreciated. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we gotta not take too much time to follow up on. So we here right now.
My mom's 72 years old, and she came down there to see Speech. But she had a good time. She walked around. She said, they're breakdancing over there. They're doing this. She loved it. She was like, this is so nice. I had no idea. I'm like, well, that's why you needed to come and experience it.
Yeah.
She had a ball.
I'm so glad to hear that.
She had her arms up at the concert. I'm like, what is happening? Where's my mother waving her hands in the air? Yeah, she's enjoying herself.
I think this is just another opportunity to show that exposure is everything.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of times in cultures or the media or whatever focuses on all the negative exposure that happens.
That's right.
All the trauma we talk about, but not all the positive things that are going on and all the, what hip hop has done for people.
Yeah.
And just how it's affected so many people's lives from just such a wide background.
That's right.
Very true.
Let's continue to do it.
Okay, we got it.
All right.